Good morning, Mark. Thanks for coming over. I am so glad we are finally having our weekend breakfast together.
Good morning, Anna. The smell of coffee in your kitchen is the best welcome in the world. Thank you for inviting me. I have been looking forward to this all week.
Me too. For me, a slow, relaxed weekend breakfast is one of my favorite little luxuries in life. It is so different from my weekday routine.
I know exactly what you mean. During the week, breakfast is just about speed. It is about eating something as quickly as possible before rushing out the door.
Exactly. But on the weekend, we have time. Time to cook something special and time to actually sit down and enjoy it properly. So, that leads to the big question of the day. What should we make?
That is a very important question. I am open to suggestions. What do you usually have for a special weekend breakfast?
I have a few favorites, but before I tell you my ideas, I am curious. You said your weekday breakfast is very fast. What do you normally eat on a busy work morning?
That is a very good question. What is your typical breakfast on a Monday morning when you are rushing to get to the office?
My weekday breakfast has to be three things: fast, easy, and healthy. I need something that gives me good energy for the whole morning.
That sounds very sensible. So, what is your go-to meal?
My go-to breakfast is a simple bowl of Greek yogurt. I find it very light and refreshing in the morning.
Just plain yogurt?
Oh, no, not just plain yogurt. That would be a bit boring. I always add some toppings to make it more interesting and nutritious. My favorite toppings are a handful of fresh berries, like blueberries or raspberries.
That adds some natural sweetness and vitamins.
Exactly. Then, for some healthy fats and a nice crunchy texture, I will add a small sprinkle of chopped nuts and seeds. I usually use almonds and some chia seeds.
That sounds very healthy. And does that keep you full until lunchtime?
It really does. The protein in the Greek yogurt and the nuts is very satisfying. And for a final touch, I will often add a little drizzle of honey on top for some extra sweetness. The whole thing only takes me 2 minutes to prepare, but it keeps me full and focused for hours. So, that is my boring but effective weekday breakfast. Now, you have to tell me about yours. What do you eat on a typical work morning?
I have to be honest. My weekday breakfast is not as healthy or as well planned as yours.
I am sure it is not that bad.
Well, I am not very good at waking up early. I always hit the snooze button on my alarm at least 3 times. This means I never have time to prepare anything at home.
So, you skip breakfast?
I never skip it, but I buy my breakfast on my way to work. There is a lovely little bakery, a bäckerei, just next to my tram stop.
And what do you buy from this bakery? Let me guess. A nice, fresh, crispy Kipfel.
You know me too well. A warm, buttery croissant, or Kipfel, as you say in Austria, is my biggest weakness. I usually have that and a large coffee to go. That is my breakfast.
I have to admit, that sounds incredibly delicious. There is nothing better than the smell of a fresh croissant.
It is delicious. That is the pro. But the con is that it is not very healthy. It is a lot of butter and refined flour, and it does not keep me full for very long. I'm usually hungry again about an hour later.
It is the classic sugar crash. Your yogurt bowl is definitely the smarter choice for a long workday.
It definitely is.
So my weekday breakfast is a pastry, and yours is a healthy yogurt bowl. This makes me think we have very different tastes when it comes to the first meal of the day.
I think we might. This leads us to the big breakfast debate. Are you on the sweet team or are you on the savory team?
The sweet versus savory debate. That is a very important question of character. You go first. What is your preference?
For me, breakfast should always be sweet. I definitely have a sweet tooth in the morning. I love starting my day with something that feels like a little treat.
I should have guessed from your yogurt with honey and berries. So for a special weekend breakfast, you are not thinking of eggs.
No, not at all. My ideal weekend breakfast would be a big stack of fluffy American-style pancakes with a lot of maple syrup and fresh fruit on top. Or maybe some Belgian waffles with chocolate sauce and whipped cream.
Pancakes and waffles. Those are very classic sweet breakfast choices.
They are. I also love French toast. That is when you dip slices of bread in a mixture of egg and milk, and then you fry it in butter. You serve it with powdered sugar on top. It is so simple, but so decadent and delicious.
It sounds like your perfect breakfast is basically a dessert.
It is, and that is why I love it so much.
I have to say, all of your sweet breakfast ideas sound amazing. I would happily eat a big plate of pancakes right now.
So you are on the sweet team too?
I enjoy sweet breakfasts, but if I had to choose, I am 100% on Team Savory.
Team savory. I knew it. So your ideal weekend breakfast does not involve maple syrup.
No, it does not. My ideal perfect weekend breakfast is a big, hearty, savory feast. I am talking about a classic full English breakfast.
A full English breakfast. That is a huge meal. What does that include?
It includes everything. The most important part for me is the eggs. I love creamy, fluffy scrambled eggs. And of course, you need some crispy bacon and some good quality sausages.
Eggs, bacon, and sausages. That is a lot of protein. It must be very filling.
It is, but that is not all. A proper full English breakfast also includes some grilled tomatoes, some mushrooms, and a piece of fried bread or toast. And the final, essential, and slightly strange ingredient is a spoonful of baked beans.
Baked beans for breakfast. The sweet beans in tomato sauce.
Yes, I know it sounds very strange to many people, but the combination of all those different savory flavors on one plate is just the most satisfying thing in the world. It is the perfect meal to prepare you for a long and active day.
A full English breakfast. It sounds like a real culinary experience. It is so interesting how different cultures have such different ideas about the perfect breakfast.
It is, isn't it? I think breakfast is one of the most culturally specific meals.
I agree. For example, what would you say is a typical French breakfast?
Oh, that is an easy one. I have been to France a few times. The classic French breakfast is very simple and very elegant. It is usually just a piece of a fresh baguette with some butter and jam.
So it is very light, no eggs or sausages.
No, not usually. Just some beautiful bread, good butter, and maybe a croissant. And of course, a big bowl-shaped cup of coffee, café au lait, to dip your baguette into. It is all about simplicity and high-quality ingredients.
That sounds lovely. And you mentioned you are from the United States. Is your ideal English breakfast similar to a typical American breakfast?
They have some similarities, but they are also quite different. I think the iconic American breakfast that you see in movies is that huge stack of pancakes with maple syrup and a side of very crispy bacon.
Ah, so that is where you combine the sweet and the savory on the same plate.
Exactly. The combination of the sweet, fluffy pancakes with the salty, crispy bacon is a classic.
It is so fun to think about all these different breakfast traditions from around the world. We have talked about the French, the English, and the Americans. But we are sitting here in Vienna. We should talk about a traditional Austrian breakfast.
Yes, please tell me. As a newcomer to this country, I need to be educated. What is a classic Frühstück in Austria?
A traditional Austrian breakfast is quite simple, but also very delicious. It is usually centered around fresh bread.
The bread here is amazing. What kind of bread do you eat for breakfast?
The most important item is a fresh, crispy semmel. That is the classic Austrian white bread roll. It should be crispy on the outside and soft and fluffy on the inside.
I know the semmel very well from the bakery. It is delicious. So, what do you eat with it?
It is usually served with a selection of toppings. On a platter, you would have some cold cuts, like slices of ham and different types of cheese. You would also have butter and some jams or honey.
So, you make little open-faced sandwiches.
Exactly. Another very essential part of a traditional Austrian breakfast is a soft-boiled egg. It is served in a little egg cup, and you eat it with a small spoon.
It sounds like a very balanced and civilized breakfast. A little bit of bread, a little bit of protein from the meat, cheese, and egg, and a little bit of sweetness from the jam.
We have spent so much time talking about the food, we have forgotten an equally important part of breakfast: the drinks.
You are so right. The breakfast beverage is a critical choice. For me, breakfast is not breakfast without a good, strong cup of coffee.
I am 100% in agreement with you. I cannot function as a human being in the morning until I have had my first coffee. It is essential for life.
What is your preferred type of coffee in the morning? Are you an espresso person, or do you prefer something with milk?
At home, I usually just make a simple black coffee in my French press. But if I am in a nice coffee house like this, I will always order a cappuccino. I love the rich espresso with the foamy steamed milk. What about you?
I am a simple filter coffee person, just a classic black coffee. But sometimes, especially on the weekend, I will have a melange.
Of course, the classic Viennese melange. What other drinks do people have for breakfast?
A fresh glass of orange juice is a very popular and healthy choice. It is full of vitamin C and is very refreshing.
I love orange juice with my breakfast, especially with a savory meal like an English breakfast.
Me too. And of course, many people prefer to drink tea in the morning instead of coffee. A classic English breakfast tea with a little bit of milk is a very popular choice all over the world. Well, this has been a very long and delicious-sounding conversation. But we still have not solved our original problem. We have not decided what we are going to make for our breakfast this morning. You are right. We have traveled all around the world of breakfast, but we have not made a decision for our own kitchen. My stomach is starting to rumble. Me too. We have established that I am on Team Sweet, and you are on Team Savory. So how can we possibly find a compromise? It is a difficult problem. Maybe we have to have 2 separate breakfasts. Or, I have an idea. What if we create a breakfast buffet just for the 2 of us? A best of both worlds breakfast. A breakfast buffet? What do you mean? I mean, why should we have to choose? We are not in a hurry. We can make a small amount of a few different things. We can make something savory for you and something sweet for me. I love that idea. It is the perfect compromise. So, what would be our 2-person buffet menu? Well, I have eggs and bacon in my fridge. We could make some delicious scrambled eggs on toast for your savory craving. That would be amazing. And for your sweet craving, we probably do not have time to make pancakes from scratch. We do not. But I do have a big tub of Greek yogurt and a lot of fresh berries. We could make a beautiful fruit and yogurt bowl, like my weekday breakfast, but a much bigger and more beautiful version.
Scrambled eggs on toast and a beautiful bowl of fruit and yogurt. That sounds like the most perfect and balanced breakfast in the world. It has everything.
I think so too. It is the perfect combination of our 2 different tastes. So, are we agreed? Is that our final breakfast plan?
It is 100% agreed. I am so excited. This is going to be a real feast.
It will be, and since we are making it together, it will not be too much work. We can divide the tasks.
A great idea. You are the expert on the yogurt bowl, so you can be in charge of that. And I am very proud of my scrambled egg skills, so I would be happy to be the egg chef.
It is a deal. I will wash and prepare the fruit and the yogurt, and you can be in charge of the hot food. I will also make the toast and another fresh pot of coffee for us.
This is perfect teamwork. This is going to be the best breakfast I have had in a very long time.
Me too. It is amazing how a simple question of what should we have for breakfast can turn into such a long and interesting conversation.
It is. I have learned all about your breakfast philosophy.
And I have learned about yours. Now, let's stop talking about food and let's start cooking it. I am starving.